All right, my friends, we have 5 big stories for today. 3 of those 5 stories are about what's going on in Kursk. And tomorrow, we're going to be doing a live stream tomorrow at 8 a.m. for members and patrons, just to say thank you to my members and patrons for supporting this channel. And we'll do that at 8 a.m. You can watch it afterwards, but look under Patreon or under the membership tab or the posts. There'll be a post about that only goes to the membership tab that shows you how to join in. Please come and join me. Ask every question that you have. Okay, big story number 1. Ukrainian forces destroyed a key bridge over the Sim River in Russia's Kursk Oblast, isolating more than 28 settlements and disturbing Russian logistics. So why would they destroy this bridge? I mean, you would think they want to keep going. Well, maybe they just want to isolate or make it difficult or hold this particular amount of ground or whatever. Russian telegram channels claim that now water evacuation is the only option for residents. A little bit more here with this same bridge picture. Here's the bridge being shown blown up. I'm not showing video here. Ukrainian forces showed footage of destroying the bridge in the Kursk region. Reportedly, this is the bridge over Sim. Now, here is the article in Euromaidan Press. It's in the Glichko district, leaving water evacuation the only option. Glichko lies southwest of the contested Kerenvo. Now, Kerenvo is where that second military convoy was just obliterated. There was one a couple days ago, like 4 days ago maybe, that was just absolutely destroyed. There was a second one that was destroyed yesterday, with the gray zone possibly reaching the Sim between them. Okay, so that's where we are with that. Second story. Breaking, Russia's defense ministry is sending conscripts, as you know. They're trying to send others from the line, but they don't want to give up the concentration in the Donetsk region, attacking Pokrovsk. I get that. That's important. It's a vital thing, but they're trying to do everything else they can but water that one down. So they're sending conscripts from other regions as reinforcements to the Kursk region. They're typically 18 to 23-year-olds without any military experience, so it's not going to go well for them. But many will surrender. That'll go better than dying, and there's no doubt that a portion of those will even switch sides, and there are some reports of those that have. Okay, you ever seen the Help Wanted ad? Okay, Russia is hiring trench diggers after the Kursk invasion. This has to be the worst Help Wanted ever. Russia is urgently advertising for trench diggers to build defenses in the Kursk region because of Ukraine's surprise invasion. So in big story number 2, you can get up to 200 or 2,500 a month or more. Ads call for laborers and general workers with no experience, but also for excavator operators, and promise that the work will be, quote, outside the combat zone with no danger, unquote. Well, that's going to be tough because Russia is trying to build this and fortify this line, these trenches, 10 miles from Ukraine's front line, and that 10 miles is reducing rapidly. So I don't know how well that's going to hold up. I wouldn't take that job. I would advise you away from that. Okay, big story number 3. The Kremlin accuses the West of helping Ukraine attack Russia. An influential aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Friday that the West and the US-led NATO alliance had helped to plan Ukraine's surprise attack on Russia's Kursk region, something Washington has denied. Why does Washington have to be involved at all? Ukrainians are brilliant by themselves. Ukraine said that the incursion was needed to force Russia, which sent its forces into Ukraine in February 2022, to start fair peace talks, because on the grounds that Russia was trying to do it, it was just give away your territory. But the United States and Western powers, eager to avoid direct military confrontation with Russia, said Ukraine had not given any advance notice and that Washington was not involved. The operation in the Kursk region was also planned with the participation of NATO and Western special services, he was quoted as saying, without offering any evidence. Without their participation and direct support, Kyiv would not have ventured into Russian territory. Well, he doesn't know that. He's saying that, but this is consistent with what I see in Russian state media. Vladimir Solyov was beside himself saying, like, you know, the West was involved. They did this kind of thing. They're the ones to blame. It's why? Why can't they just give credit to Ukrainians that they have this capacity or this ability to think outside the box. They really, really do. Okay, next big story. Tonight, this was yesterday or the day before. Tonight, there was a large attack by Ukrainian drones on 3 Russian military airfields. And I said in the morning that followed, okay, so we don't know exactly what's happened. And then the next day, we showed some blown up buildings that were apparently affected. Well, now we know what's actually happened. Here in this Newsweek article, Ukraine goes after Russia's deadliest weapon. Well, it's not nukes. Their deadliest weapon is not nukes because they can't actually use nukes. So what's doing the most or wreaking the most havoc on the battlefield? Kyiv's targeting of Russian air bases with long-range strikes aims to affect Russia's ability to hammer Ukraine with highly destructive glide bomb attacks. Glide bomb attacks have been miserable for Ukraine because Russian jets have been able to strike Ukrainian targets with impunity. They do it so far away from the front that they're able to fire and get away from any anti-aircraft and still hit targets within Ukraine. Okay. Highly destructive glide bomb attacks, reports suggest, as Moscow struggles to get a firm grip on Ukrainian troops attacking in the border Kursk region. Kyiv said earlier this week that it had carried out long-range drone strikes on 4 Russian military airfields. The main targets were warehouses storing fuel and aviation weapons, Ukraine's military said. The 4 air bases house Russian military aircraft, including Su-34 and 35 advanced jets. These aircraft have launched missiles and devastating glide bombs, often out of the reach of Ukrainian air defenses that have pummeled Ukraine for months. So going after these was pretty phenomenal. If you can hit with a drone, hit a warehouse that will blow up lots of munitions, that's a good return on investment. Russia reported a massive wave of Ukrainian drone strikes on its territory at a time, saying a total of 117 uncrewed aerial vehicles had been intercepted by its air defense systems. Interception sometimes means with the Russians that it actually hits the target and it's intercepted. A total of 37 were reported over Kursk, plus 37 over Voronezh, and 11 destroyed over Nizhny Novgorod region, Moscow said. All right, so that's what we know there. They're actually going after these glide bombs, and with some earnestness. Okay, now the next big story is Russian troops, this was just a few minutes ago, destroyed a Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jet in Dnipro Oblast using missiles. The Ukrainian colonel, Yuri Inat, confirmed the loss. Unfortunately, we lost a MiG-29 today. Fortunately, everyone is alive and well. It is war. Okay. Now the 5th story is a little off the beaten trail. Vacancy of A-class business centers increases to 28%. So we're talking about business real estate. Now it seems like a weird topic, but it's interesting to understand what's going on here. So what's happening to business real estate in Kyiv? There's a change in tenant formats, a reduction in occupied space, and a move to areas remote from the center. The largest Ukrainian corporations have transferred employees from rented premises to their own administrative real estate, so they're not keeping their businesses open like they have been before, their headquarters or whatever that they had rented before. A number of companies have closed down their low-demand representative offices, and the practice of working from home has become widespread. So they don't want the businesses to be a target or pay for their businesses to potentially be targets, and it's better to work from home. Now, work from home is a different thing than working in a central location, and it's harder to coordinate, but we were able to do it before with COVID, and they're apparently doing that again. At the same time, as of mid-2024, rental rates continue to decline. Thus, in Class A, the average rate fell from 19.9 per square meter per month at the end of 2023 to 17.5 per square meter per month. So even the price of rental real estate, business real estate, has dropped because the market's just not demanding it. So it's verifying that that's what's happening. More than 30 projects with a total area of about 800,000 square meters, whose opening was previously announced for 2024 to 2025, are most likely to be postponed. And you would expect that. They're in a war zone, so that's what's happening. So it's going to be interesting to see how this trend affects business moving forward. And it's just an interesting thought. I was thinking about the COVID memes like, oh, you're working from home today. Great. You can watch the kids so I can run errands. No, they have to still continue to do their work at home and be able to be productive in spite of everything else going on. So they just have to be coordinated. Now, the real trick here is electricity. If they don't have the electricity to be able to connect, that's going to make business very, very tricky. Okay. If you were watching the Olympics, and this is a little off topic, but I'm going to relate it in a moment. If you were watching the Olympics, there was this breakdancer. She has a PhD, but has very little ability, if any, in breakdancing. Got 0 points in the breakdancing competition, and it was almost embarrassing, but she was trying to make some kind of academic point by competing in the Olympics. Every Olympic, this is Bill Murray, the comedian, saying, every Olympic event should include one average person competing for a reference so that we know what real athletes are like. And it's kind of like this guy, the commander of the Akhmud Special Forces, the Akhmud fighters from Chechnya, just turned tail and ran immediately. And he's kind of like this. All right, last little bit. I saw this on Twitter. Now, this was posted on August 28th, 2014, shortly after the Russians invaded Donbass for the first time. And there was this joke out here that said, nationality, Russian. Occupation, no, I'm just visiting, right? I don't think the Russians are going to enjoy this joke like they used to. All right, my friends, that's all that I have. Now remember, tomorrow I'm going to be doing the live stream, so please be looking for the live Q&A at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Members will be able to see the link under the community post, and patrons will be able to find it as well on Patreon. So thank you. Hope to see you then. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.